Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Jake and Justin in the morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Joining us for a little bit today, we have our first special guest of the year, my cousin Dan Melmick. Dan, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. I'm not used to being clapped for on Zoom, so thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, before we get started, Dan, what did you have for breakfast?
Breakfast this morning. Let's see. I had a couple of breakfast bars, a little bit of granola, and some blackberries.
All right, Justin, what did you have for breakfast?
I had my daily dose of the pain of the Jets losing. That's a good breakfast in the morning.
That's hard to digest. That's hard to digest, Justin.
Oh, I know. But it helps you wake up. So whatever gets me through the day, right?
All right. All right. For me, for this morning, for breakfast, I know you're so curious. I know it's a big mystery for you. I had my multi-grain Cheerios and a bagel.
Well, it's whatever you ate this morning has given you the giggles, so it's all good.
It's an inside joke. It doesn't get the whole multi-grain Cheerios thing. He's never heard of. I'm the only person on earth that he knows that eats them.
Oh, all right.
You know, I'm probably gonna have to start eating them soon because I got that calcium and vitamin C deficiency, and that stuff is about 100% of the recommended daily intake. So yeah, we're probably gonna have to start having some of those, but you're not gonna catch me having them with milk. Anyway, though, we got a great show for you today. We're gonna be talking about three sports today. That's right, three. So let's start off with some football. So over the past 3 weeks in the NFL, we've been seeing some of the rookie quarterbacks, mainly the starters being Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Zach Wilson, and then and also Mac Jones, and then every now and then we'll see Trey Lance pop out of nowhere when Kyle Shanahan decides to make a moderate smart move. But really, the main four have been Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields, and all of them haven't been doing so fantastic. So my question is, out of those four, which rookie quarterback is the worst? Because they've all been looking pretty bad.
So I'm going to slightly weigh in here and say I got to see Trevor play last night on Thursday Night Football, and he actually looked pretty good. And given that their defense couldn't stop Cincinnati in the second half, really wasn't his fault that they lost the game. So he's definitely not the worst, even though their record is 0-4. Who are my other choices? Zach and Mac, and who's the fourth?
And Justin Fields. Justin Fields on the Chicago Bears.
Right. He only played one game though, right, Justin?
Yeah, he played maybe one game, maybe 2 games at this point, but
yeah. It's a tough call there. The Jets don't give Zach a hell of a lot of protection and time to show, but him and Justin are probably at the bottom, fighting it out for the worst, I guess. And with Trevor and Mac being towards the top, although I'll be interested to see what Mac does this weekend, because it'll be a big test. What do you guys think?
For who was the worst? I mean, Zach Wilson hasn't looked too good at being. I haven't liked that he's held onto the ball a little bit too long, but one, his offensive line has not been very good, and two, his receivers have the worst separation I have ever seen. A lot of times he's holding onto the ball just because his receivers aren't open. He's just waiting. He's like, I might play for 20 years, but I only got 5 seconds for this one play. Mac, haven't loved. I knew he didn't have a great arm, but he's not throwing the ball down the field. His last game, he threw 3 interceptions. Didn't think he looked great. Honestly, all of them haven't looked good. The worst, I would probably say, I'm actually going to go with Mac Jones, believe it or not.
Oh, really? Huh.
The first 2 games, he looked decent. First of all, his last game, he did not look good at all. He threw 3 interceptions, was a big read. He threw a pick 6, which was a key in them losing to the Saints. And he's not pushing the ball down the field. The guy's averaging like 6, 7, 8 yards per pass. In today's league, if you want to win championships, which if he's going to be the franchise quarterback in New England, it's just because of the guy who he is replacing, even though he wasn't the quarterback last year, Tom Brady. With New England, he has so many rings, you can't fit him on one finger. He needs to win championship, and to win a championship, you got to have some sort of deep ball arm. He just doesn't have that. And and I knew he didn't have a great arm, but he really is not. It's really looked bad so far. Fields, obviously his numbers look terrible, but his line was atrocious. The weapons were good enough. Matt Nagy should have been fired in the locker room. The owner should have went into the locker room and told them, get out of my building. And Lawrence hasn't looked great either. Whenever he has a bad game, people are going to overreact because of how he was. But I think Urban Meyer's going to have a job in 2 years. I don't think he's going to work in the NFL. His weapons aren't fantastic. He has a line there isn't great either, but defense is horrible. So all the rookies are pretty much all really in not so great situations. The best situation is probably Mac because he's got Belichick. But even the offensive line there has struggled. They don't really have a ton of good receivers. So I would say Mac is the worst because, Wilson really just doesn't have anything to work with. Lawrence doesn't have much. He's gotten better. And Fields, the guy, I feel bad for the guy because he has to deal with Matt Nagy. Mac's got Belichick. He's got 2 good tight ends, and he still will throw more than 6 yards down the field.
Can I ask a quick question? Are we considering Joe Burrow a first year, given that he missed most of last year?
No, you consider him second year because I do believe he played 9 or 10 games last year.
Oh, did he play that many? Okay.
Yeah, he played enough until he just took too many hits because the poor man has to play in front of him. I don't want to call him out the line. The people that stand in front of him, whatever you want to call that setup in Cincinnati.
Okay, Justin, are we going to hear now about how your digestion is poor because of your Jets quarterback?
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna look. Every quarter, I definitely agree with Jake. Every quarterback this week didn't look so great. However, at least 3 out of the 4 of them have a legitimate excuse as to why they didn't play well. As for Zach Wilson, he just has an atrocious O-line. Justin Fields, I would have given it to him this week. I would have given it to him, saying that he was the worst. However, his O-line just did not help. He got sacked 9 times. Like that's just I mean he had no time to throw the ball. Trevor Lawrence, I would say, yeah, he did play pretty well on Thursday, so I'm very happy. So I'm happy with that. Yeah, I would probably say the worst is Mac Jones. For all the reasons you said, Jake. He doesn't bring the ball down a lot. However, I do see potential in him. I don't think he's going to be the next Brady because he won't deflate balls. But I do think, but I will definitely say he is without a doubt a major upgrade from Cam Newton. I would say I would take Mac Jones over Cam Newton any day, and this is going to be the first and only time I will praise the Patriots for something, because I just can't stand them as a Jets fan. But yeah, I think Mac Jones. I expected more from Mac Jones, and he just didn't deliver. So yeah, he's probably the worst rookie quarterback right now because he doesn't really have to deal with much struggles as the other 3 do. Moving on to another team, Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm just gonna ask this: if you guys have if you guys have seen the record, what are they now? 1-2, right? And then Ben Roethlisberger is just not playing well. You got to wonder, why do they stink? Go.
Jake, you start on that one. I'm interested in your opinion.
Yeah. Okay. The one problem is that Ben Roethlisberger, he just is not the same quarterback. Okay. His arm is finished. 2 years ago he had shoulder surgery. He's I think 39 years old now. His arm is just completely just gook. He's the most immobile quarterback in NFL history. He takes one step, he just falls on his face. He's not mobile at all. He can't push the ball down the field anymore. And their offensive line is terrible. It is absolutely terrible. And this defense, which has been their strong suit the last couple of years, it isn't the same anymore. They lost Dupree. They lost a couple of guys in the secondary. And just this is not the same team. I mean, I love Mike Tomlin. That's the one thing I like about receivers. I love Mike Tomlin as a coach. I think he's one of the best in the NFL. Teams always are very good. But this Ben Roethlisberger is just not that good anymore. The offensive line is horrible. They can't keep Ben upright. They got a very talented young back, and Najee Harris has no room to run. He's trying. He just, also he's used to Alabama having a superior offensive line. But you got to give the guy something. He's got nothing. And Juju Smith-Schuster is supposed to be the number one receiver. Is too busy making TikToks.
I'm interested in how many teams have really bad offensive line so far, and whether are the players not good, or is it the coaching that's not good, or some combination of both?
I think it would probably be a combination of both. I feel that maybe if there was a different Bengals coach, and just overall, and if the Bengals knew how to draft better, instead of drafting an offensive lineman, you go for a wide receiver. I feel that would have helped them out very well. It would have definitely brought some more depth into their offensive line because some of them snap like twigs.
I think in some situations, it's one or the other, but in some situations, like Cincinnati, I'm not sold on Zach Taylor, but that group they have there is not good. I don't really think there's very few coaches that you could bring in and really turn that group around. That being said, but in Pittsburgh, it's definitely the group. Tomlin's a great coach. That group's terrible. That being said, when you look at a team like Chicago, that group isn't great, but they shouldn't be giving up 9 sacks. I think that might be more of Matt Nagy. So I think in the different places, it's different.
Yeah. Okay. Fair point.
So the Steelers, let's think about this. Well, yes, Jake, you're absolutely right. Ben Roethlisberger just does not know how to play the game anymore, because we're reaching a point in the NFL to where quarterbacks can no longer rely on their offensive line to do everything for them, nor can they rely on their running backs to do everything for them. So at some points, they need to learn how to scramble. They need to learn how to run the ball forward a little bit. Even if it's for 5 yards, it's still something. Ben Roethlisberger does not know how to do it. He's a stationary quarterback. I remember there was one play that happened recently this week against the Bengals where he throws the ball and he just instantly falls over. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. If you haven't seen it, it's look it up. It's hilarious. I was also going to say that Juju Smith-Schuster is just. I just don't think he's that good, because he spent too much time making TikToks on the center of the field, than actually focusing on how to catch a ball. If I pull up the stats, Juju Smith-Schuster only had 25 yards compared to Najee Harris's 102 compared to Chase Claypool's 96. So it's just I think this team needs to make a lot of changes, but if I had to choose one, I think it has to start with the quarterback. I'd probably give Mason Rudolph a try. Or back to him, because who knows, maybe he'll look really well until he plays the Browns, to where Myles Garrett ends up whacking him with the helmet again.
And he's got a great name too. Mason Rudolph is just a great name.
Yeah, he does. and especially on Christmas Day, with Rudolph, you could really make it a big thing in Pittsburgh.
That's
But
right.
I've always wanted to do this. Give me a second.
Oh, okay.
a second.
What's going on here?
I can finally happily wave to Pittsburgh the terrible towel. That's right, Pittsburgh. How does it feel? It's time to panic. Y'all are terrible. All right, moving on from that tomfoolery. We do a little bit of trolling on here. So we just recently talked about Ben Roethlisberger, the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. Now let's talk about the other Ben in Pennsylvania. No, I'm not talking about Benjamin Franklin. I'm talking about Ben Simmons on the Philadelphia 76ers. If you haven't heard, Ben Simmons has been with a lot of drama recently with him, mostly because he said that he never wants to play with Philadelphia again. Apparently, him and the center Joel Embiid have been dealing with some issues, saying that Joel Embiid said things that he's disrespectful. And I just want to pick your guys' brains list. I want to know what you guys think. They think about this whole issue, because Ben Simmons in the playoffs, he was not good at all. And I never really thought he was this fantastic player either. I thought he was a decent defender, and I thought he was good. He was good inside, like in the paint. But his free throw shooting is just absolutely atrocious, and that is what ended up costing them the game in Game 7 against the Hawks. So what do you guys think about this whole drama?
Yeah, I think, well, let me just say the drama's stupid, because, these guys end up taking up a lot of space as we are talking now around stuff that has nothing to do with actual playing. And basketball's a sport I probably know the best. I was always under the belief that Ben Simmons, if you can't shoot from 8 feet away in the modern NBA, then you can't really be a superstar. And they tout him because of his his height, because of his defense and stuff like that. But compared to the other guards in the league, he can't shoot. And if you can't shoot, then everybody's just going to drop off you. And it's like they're playing 5-on-4 defense, because unless he's under the basket, putting the ball back up, or, posting up, he's not doing that much. And, I know they were talking about him maybe going to the Warriors, and I like the Warriors. And in some ways there's a fit there, because he could distribute and not worry about shooting at all. But I wonder whether he's better off almost being a 3 rather than a point guard. But then still, you want your 3 to be able to shoot. So I think the controversy is ridiculous. He set a line in the sand, and he's going to stick with it, and more power to him on that. But in terms of what it means for basketball, I don't know who's going to give up a number 1 pick or a great package for somebody who can't shoot in a league where the 3-point shot is the prime weapon.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I was actually talking with Justin about this the other day. In today's league, you need to have a 3-point shot. And not only does he have a 3-point shot, he doesn't have a mid-range game. He doesn't have a free throw shot. The guy is an outstanding defender. Can guard all 5 positions. He can distribute the basketball, like Dan said. He's a good rebounder. I mean, he has no offensive game whatsoever. He can take it to the hole, but he can't shoot free throws. So, and now after seeing what he did in the playoff, he shot like 40% in the playoff, put out like Shaq numbers from the line in the playoffs. Guys are it's going to be hack-a-bang. They're just going to foul him. like you said, those probably going to play defense, right the free throw line. And if he wants to shoot, great, he's going to miss. And if he tries to get inside, they're just going to foul him from the line.
I'm constantly amazed that there are a handful of players, maybe more, who just cannot shoot foul shots. And given the video, breakdown that they have, given the coaching that they have, unless there's a physical problem, and sometimes there's a mental issue of, having the yips sort of, I don't know how a professional basketball player can make it to the NBA and not be shooting 70% of their free throws.
Yeah. Dan, I heard as well that he was potentially going to the Warriors, and I just don't see him as a good fit because here's why. If you need a player that is a good distributor of the ball to players who can shoot and defenders, they already have that, and his name is Draymond Green. Because they really don't need another. I mean, I know a lot of people say it. I know I've heard it all over the place, the Warriors, but I just don't think that's his spot to be. I don't think any place is his spot to be because of his lack of shooting. I think he will end up being a man without a team. I really do.
Yeah.
Or I can see him going to a place where all great players go to die, or where players who never really had a prime to begin with go. And I'm talking about the Sacramento Kings. Because Buddy Hield just needs a little bit more pain on that team. Because he's already got enough with Tristan Thompson, Marvin Bagley already. I mean Ben Simmons is just terrible. He really is, and he has an ego too for this because let me tell you something. I don't think Philly wants you either. It's
Yeah, I don't think they win a championship with them. And you bring up a very good point there too. Is if you have him and Draymond Green on the floor at the same time, then basically you only have 3 scoring positions. And even if that's Steph, Clay, and Wiggins, then they're starting to double team the ball. They're going to be daring them to shoot. And Draymond is a better shooter than I think he's shown at times. But I'd be happy with him not going to the Warriors, quite honestly, and because I just like the way the Warriors play basketball, and I think he'll be a drag on that team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll say one more thing about this. This is Ben Simmons needs to be traded. He is not going to be on the Sixers, okay? The Sixers, what they need a little bit more 3-point shooting. They got more. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. So why is Ben Simmons still on the team? It's been proven that you can't win with him in the playoffs. A team that needs 3-point shooting and can afford to give up defense. Simmons can't shoot the 3, and he's a great defender. And now Simmons says he doesn't want to play for them either. Why? I don't know. He's like we discussed, being a bit of a diva. Play for them. They don't want you either. By the way, the fact that he got $200 million is egregious. Absolutely egregious. This guy is worth probably at most $15 to $20 million a year. $40 million a year for this man? No. Like, absolutely not. Honestly, I don't know where he fits. Maybe Golden State. I don't know. I honestly would like to see him like. One, I think he should be a power forward. I do not think he's a point guard. I never thought he was a point guard. I don't know why Philly put him there. I would like to see him go somewhere on a rebuilding team like Sacramento or Cleveland or Washington. One, because I can't stand the dude. I want him to suffer and lose. He doesn't want to be in Philly, and they're a top 4 team in the East. Now he goes to this crap team like Washington that has Bradley Beal and a bunch of just no names, or the Kings or the Cavs who just always suck. And partly he needs to restart. They definitely need a divorce. The guy, no offensive game whatsoever. Get him out of Philly.
And the one more thing I'll say is if you can teach Brooke Lopez to shoot the 3, then you should be able to teach Ben Simmons to shoot the 10-foot shot.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right about that, both of you. Next up, we're next up in basketball. So I'm assuming everybody knows the rules with the vaccinations now in the NBA, right? Does anyone want to explain it for the audience real quick about what the vaccination rules are?
I'll explain. Okay. In the NBA, Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, the players must be vaccinated. Well, obviously each team can have different rules, but in New York, because we are talking about a player that plays in New York, we'll get to that in a minute. If this certain player does not get vaccinated, I'll let Justin talk about that part. He cannot play at home. So you
Right, and
know,
same for
that's
Jake.
a bit of an issue.
Yeah, well, I think and Justin, correct me if I'm wrong here, they are not requiring the players to be vaccinated in the NBA. And that's why
That's right. Yeah, they're not requiring. Yeah.
that's why the Kyrie Irving and Andrew Wiggins situation, California, New York, is so interesting. I did read something today that said 95% of the players in the NBA are vaccinated, which is pretty amazing. And I know you guys don't talk necessarily about hockey that much, but there's a hockey player, and I'm blanking on which team he's on. It's not going to be allowed to play with the team or with their affiliate.
That's Ronaldo.
Yeah, because he's not vaccinated. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. And Justin, I see you want to get into talk about Kyrie in a little bit, and I'm going to have to jump off in a minute, unfortunately. But I'll be curious as to what you guys think about that. Kyrie is his own person. He happened to grow up in the same town that I grew up in many different years. And you know, if you think the earth is flat, then I understand why you don't want to get a vaccination. Because you know, you're more likely to fall off and end up in Venus or Mars or something like that. So yeah, I think I'm surprised that the NBA with Adam Silver at its head is not requiring everyone to be vaccinated. I believe the NHL is requiring everybody, and I think the NFL also. So it seems almost impossible these days to not go in that direction, although they have a collective bargaining agreement, and that always, you know, makes a difference. Although I think public health should override any collective bargaining agreement. So that's my last word, if that's okay. I appreciate you guys having me on. Happy to come on again in the future. I could spend at least 15 or 20 minutes talking about your screen backgrounds, because they're quite, you know, your backgrounds are unusual there for both you guys. I'm talking about the actual picture that you have behind you. Interesting. So again, appreciate you having me on, and Jake, I'll look forward to seeing you soon, and Justin, meeting you in person.
No, it's nice to meet. Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting you too, Dan. Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Take care.
All right, Danny. I'll talk to you soon, Dan. Thanks for coming.
Okay, take care, guys.
Okay, Danny.
All right.
All right. So
So
some last words on Kyrie as Dan exits. Situation is, like, I apologize, I made a mistake. The NBA, like we said, has not required the vaccine. That being said, in New York, indoor, you must have a vaccine. Kyrie Irving obviously plays his home games in Brooklyn, New York, and if he does not get the vaccine, he cannot play at home. So that's at least 41 times. You know, Kyrie Irving, who obviously is a championship level player playing on a championship favorite, will not be able to play probably at least half a season. So, Justin, as someone who, you know, I know you like the Nets, obviously this team is not the most likable team in the world. What do you think about the situation?
all right. Well, we got 8.5 minutes left, so we got to speed run this one now. So here's what I'm going to say. Kyrie's an idiot. He's just an idiot. I like the guy. I like the guy. He's probably one of my top 10 favorite players. He's an excellent ball handler, but my God, he's just so stupid. He really is. I mean, can he ever? Can you know what? I have a challenge for Kyrie. Go 1 year without doing something stupid. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, he is not a bright person. You know, he's one of the biggest morons on this planet for sure. I would like to challenge him to play one game without getting injured. That would be my challenge to him. I know that might be a little tough for him, but yeah, like Kyrie, come on, man. I mean, on the why I'm surprised. I mean, the guy thinks the Earth is flat. I mean, even though for 500 plus years that it's not flat, but I guess he didn't pay attention to history class when he was young. That's his opinion. The vaccine, and he doesn't want to get it. That's also his opinion. but he's gonna cost him a championship. That's his choice. Anyway, moving on to the Major League Baseball playoff preview. Okay, so this is what we got. National League East, the Atlanta Braves have clinched the East. The Central, the Milwaukee Brewers have clinched over there. Giants lead the Dodgers by 2 games. With 3 games to go, both teams are in the playoffs. Loser of that division will be the first wild card in the American League. The Rays have clinched the East. White Sox have clinched the Central. Astros clinched the West. American League wild card is very, very tight. Yankees are the top spot right now. They're 2 games ahead of Boston and Seattle, who are tied for the second spot. Toronto was 1 game back for the second spot. So, Justin, let's give who do you think will win the World Series?
Yes, what I've been waiting for all podcast. All right, first things first. All week, yes. Yankees fans. Aaron Boone sucks. He is the worst manager in the MLB. Mets fans. The Luis Rojas experiment has fallen to a cliff and died.
It's over. He's gone after the year.
You aren't making it either. The team I think is making it because, like I said, we only got 6 minutes left at this ring. We still got 2 things to do still. San Francisco Giants. Absolutely. I think they're taking it home. It's coming home to San Fran.
Yeah, this is a team that we thought was finished, and now they might win their 4th win in the last 11 or 12 years. If I had to pick, I'll pick the Dodgers just because, it seems like they're in the World Series every year, and I do think on paper they're a smidge better.
Recency bias.
Another recency bias, but I'm going to take the Dodgers to win a 7-game series in 7 over San Francisco in the pennant, and I don't think there's a team on the planet in the American League that can defeat them.
All right, moving on. Now, time for the special. You hate to see it. All right, so Jake, I know you got some stuff where you hate to see it, so just pull it up. Let's talk about it.
All right, here we go. So this is what I got first. This is what I got first. No, I do not want to know about the police shooting. Do not want to know that. What I do want to know is this. So Justin Tucker makes a 66-yard field goal, longest field goal ever in NFL history, to win the game against the Detroit Lions for the Ravens. And all he gets is to be the MVP on Nickelodeon. That's it? Justin, how much do you hate to see it?
40. Actually, no, excuse me, 66. Because that's how much yards he kicked. And yeah, you're right. It's just absolute disrespect. It really is. Well, no, it's not disrespect. It's obviously for kids, but it's just really funny to where nobody really talks about this that much except for Sunday. But guess what he gets? He gets MVP. Congratulations, Justin Tucker, for being in the same position as Mitch Trubisky. 66 out of 10. Really hate to see.
I will say a 10 just because he's in the same category as Mitch Trubisky, who was drafted over Patrick Mahomes. I mean, come on. Tucker might be the greatest kicker to ever live. I think he'll absolutely be the greatest kicker to ever live, at least by the time he retires. You can argue he already is. And he's in the same category as the Bills' backup quarterback. Give me a break, 10 out of 10. All right, that's all I got.
All right. Well, I got one. So there's not really anything for this. It's just something to share. Because I think everybody knows this by now. Justin Fields got sacked, 9 times in the game, and he only threw 60 something yards. Well, the entire Bears offense had a net offense of 1.1 yards. Jake, how much you had to see it?
1,000 out of 10. Okay, what was that? What were they doing on offense? What were they doing? Matt Nagy should either be banned from the NFL. He should go hang out with Adam Gase because his offense looked almost worse than Adam Gase. I didn't know that was even possible. Or he for whatever stupid reason, he just loves Andy Dalton and just wants a reason to rush Dalton back from injury because Fields is so bad. In other words, I purposely made this crap game plan so Fields could just play terrible. 1,000 out of 10. Get rid of the coach there. Get rid of the GM there. changes are needed in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give that a 10 out of 10. Bears suck. You know, Mitch. Nick Foles Bears had a better had a better net offense. Anyway, now it's time for our athletes of the week. Jake, athlete of the week, go. A minute and a half left.
My athlete is Salvador Perez. He has set the new MLB record for home runs in the season by a catcher. This is one of my favorite players in the league. Top 5 catcher in baseball, and the best catcher in baseball this year. He'll be the MVP finals leader ranking in the league. It's down to Shohei Ohtani, Vladdy, and Salvi. Salvi's got 48 home runs this year. What a season he has had. He's my athlete of the week.
All right, my athletes of the week are going to the team, the Shanghai Dragons. It is an Overwatch League team because when they first came out, they were 0-40. Yes, that is right, 0-40. And then 3 years later, they are now the Overwatch League champions. So congratulations to them. What a comeback, really. You guys are my athletes of the are the athletes of the week, and you deserve it and hold it high. And well, that's gonna do it for us, guys. So just a quick announcement. That guest form is still open. Yeah, I saw it. None of you answered it. I'm calling you out right now. So please do that. We'll be back next week with another guest, and have a great rest of your morning, guys. Peace out.
So long.